Good morning, day 9. That's where we're headed, where you see that snow right over there across this valley. That's the Catalinas. And it was cold last night. I did get down out of the snow, but I didn't get down out of the cold. But 2 Sky Islands down, 1 to go. Looks like a lot of snow up there. Sun's trying to come up, but not fast enough. So I've been hiking a couple miles this morning, and I know there's I believe a hiker box at the next road crossing, but whether there's water in it, I don't know. I'm gonna take this. Maybe another half hour, that sun will pop up and it'll be warm enough to eat some breakfast. So the trail goes from the snow there back down into this grassland and scrub for about a half a day, and then we'll start climbing again. So it's all about terrain out here when you're going to get some sun. Yesterday I had sun by 7 in the morning. Today it's 8. And other times of the year you'll be getting up and hiking early just to beat the sun down the trail a ways, because you know when it pops over that horizon it's going to get hot fast and stay hot. But this is just the opposite now. I got frozen water to make my breakfast with. One thing I don't hear a lot of people talking about, and maybe it's because only I do it, is falling. Yeah, I fall occasionally, but in the last 12 hours I've fallen 7 times. And it's not because I'm talking to this camera. The first 2 or 3 were coming down that mountain yesterday, late in the day, almost running out of snow. It just got icy, and I was rappelling using trees and bushes and whatever I could hang on to, but then all of a sudden your landing gear just comes out from under you, and you end up on your butt and slide a little bit and cuss a little bit, get up and do it again. And now this morning, I still had quite a descent in pretty rocky terrain, and I had my headlamp on, but it had nothing really to do with walking in the dark with a headlamp. It's actually the trail out here. Arizona Trail is very rocky in lots of places, and you get into the grass area, the grass is growing over the trail, so you don't know really where you're stepping every time, and you hit a loose rock and down you go. And again, you say a few choice words and get up and keep moving. And you know, maybe it's better that I fall than try and catch myself and sprain something or break something. I either have rubber bones or I don't know, I've just never really, I don't think I've had a sprained ankle since I was a kid. So it happens. I haven't broken my phones or anything. Now this could be a water supply right here. Thank God I've got plenty. The other thing I wanted to talk about is the fact that the only heater you have out here when it's cold like this, and you know, I don't really camp and hike in super cold weather like I've had. I just started this trip early because I've got some commitments. I've got to come off the trail for a few days, a couple of times to take care of some business. And so I just wanted to get an early start. But I'll probably finish the trail up in April. I'll do the first half and then probably take a couple weeks off and come back, and it'll be a whole lot warmer for sure. The other thing I wanted to talk about was the fact that the only heaters out here are that sun and your body. And that sun tends to go down every night. And so now you've got your body to keep you warm, and you got to feed it. So don't go so ultra light that you're not carrying enough food, and food that you crave. I mean, I'm eating a lot of times when I'm not even hungry, just that I know I'm expending a lot of energy and I want to eat, keep fueling that furnace. And so you gotta really buy, you know, everybody talks about gear and, you know, get the greatest gear and latest gear, but you got to spend some time on your food you like, food you crave even, and carry enough of it. So I'm at Italian Springs Trailhead, and I knew there was a box here. I was hoping for some water here, and I'm not disappointed. There's not a lot, but there's enough for Sophie and I. And even a polar ruby red grapefruit seltzer. Not that I need anything polar this morning. Sun's shining, but it's cold today. So whoever put all this stuff here, I appreciate it. So let's talk water. You know, these boxes you're gonna run into all along the trail. Next month will be probably pretty well supplied because they know the big push is coming through. You know, right now there's, you know, I'll take maybe a half a liter because I know someplace behind me is a gal named Sophie and she's gonna need some water. And so don't be a hog when you come to these things, even if it's well stocked. The Arizona Trail is getting very popular, so there's a lot of competition for this water. So don't spill it. Take what you need, but use what you take. And just think of the people behind you. I've said before on this channel, there's 8 billion people on the planet, and half of them are assholes. Don't be one. So every day but one day on this trip, I've had to stop about noon, dry out my tent and my bag. Every morning when I get up, this thing looks like a igloo with all the frost on it. And so I'll be up in the snow for sure tomorrow, probably not today, but boy, you don't want to stop. I always stop late, and you don't want to stop with a wet tent. You know, the bag doesn't get very wet. It takes 2 minutes for that to air out. The tent takes about 5 minutes. It's a little windy today, and I am finding some damage to my tent that I hadn't noticed the first day from my little rat friend. The center line that holds these two poles at a certain distance. He chewed that, I tied that. But then there's like a ribbon line from the ends out to here to give the tent support. He chewed that. And so at about mile 210, Highway 77, I'll take 0 there and work on my tent and fix and replace things that have gone bump in the night here. The other point though is, you know, I mean, I love my Hilleberg tent. I've told you that. But knowing that I had that pack rat out there, I brought everything into my tent, and that gets a little crowded because that's a one-man tent with a two-man fly. But out of sight, out of mind, if I would have left it out there, he would have chewed my pack, he would have chewed my shoes. You know, they're just little chewing machines. So as it is, I don't think he did too much damage, but you know, it's only happened to me maybe 6 times in all the years I've backpacked, but that's 6 too many. And so, you know, I'd almost, if somebody came up with a tent just like this that was one piece, you know, I love my double wall tent. I think it's a lot warmer, but if I had a tent big enough with the same footprint that I could put everything inside every night, not that a rat won't chew through a tent, but like I say, out of sight, out of mind. You know, what does a pack rat want with a tripod? But he wanted it. So anyway, I just don't want a bigger footprint. And you know, this tent, you can take the inner tent out of it, but then you don't have a floor and you don't have any mosquito netting. You know, I want all that too. But, you know, if the right tent came along that had all those things, I might give up my inner tent. I'd love to bring everything in every night. Nice, clean, cold, fresh Arizona water. Haven't seen cow droppings in 10 minutes, so I'm drinking this. So I found a new use for my poles, a couple of them. One, coming down in the snow last night, I was putting a lot of weight on these things and they're good and solid, and that's how I fell on the PCT at Apache Pass. I was leaning into my pole too much and my pole broke, just threw me, and sliding I went. And the other thing is, the other night with my pack rat problem, I also had all this cat claw around my tent site. I mean, it's everywhere out here. The scientific name for it is rip your leg off. But with my pole, I can beat it back when I need a little tent space. And so these are good and solid weed whackers too. Okay, day 9, over and out. Past Moline Basin, I've got about 12.5 mile climb until I hit snow tomorrow.